back to the top story this weekend. That highly anticipated Northwest ANC elective conference is supposed to kick off today, but it's been marred by controversy. A disgruntled party member won an urgent court application to ban interim provincial committee members from voting. Now, the conference has since been postponed multiple times due to branch disputes. 5 candidates are vying for the chairperson position, including Northwest Premier Bushi Mape and his predecessor Supra Mahumapelo. ANC's Pulele Chwiti Jones is covering that conference for us and joins us now. Thank you very much for your time once again this morning, Pule. I had a conversation with an analyst shortly after you and I spoke earlier on this morning, and he indicated that Supra Mahumapelo is actually on the back foot when it comes to popularity or the preference in terms of the chairperson of the Northwest, saying he stands very little a chance to actually make any headway in these particular elections should they get underway. What have you been hearing around who is the best bet to win the chairmanship there in the Northwest?
Well, as it is, it's still too early to say, because one can also try and analyze the numbers from where Premier Bushimape comes from, who he didn't have enough numbers. Not a lot of branches actually voted for him, meaning that it's all going to be about a numbers game right now. So we just have to wait and see what will happen in terms of some of the registrations that are ongoing right now. Things are still a bit slow. The conference hasn't got into full swing in terms of having to start its whole process of convening the program. But while this is the case, we've also been getting some bit of reaction from some of the alliance partners and, of course, the ANC delegates. And right now we're going to be speaking to Sanko as well in the province. I'm joined by Dr. James Khannabuka, who's going to be speaking to us here. James, thank you very much for joining us on ENCA. We spoke about 3 months ago at Inimbizo for MK military veterans, where Deputy President David Mabuza was addressing there. And you raised quite sharp concerns regarding the provincial conference then in preparation for where we are right now. What's your reaction on last night's court interdict?
We spoke very sharply on the illegitimacy or the unconstitutional status of the so-called IPC. The constitution of the ANC is very clear that the interim structure should be there for 9 months. Now, we raised this issue sharply to the National Executive Committee of the ANC that the IPC that they established in the Northwest is now illegitimate. Now, our concern has been now vilified at the courts of law. The point we want to make to the NEC of the ANC now is that they must be the law-abiding citizens of this republic. Otherwise, we don't have leadership if they are not going to abide to the judgment of the court, where the courts have said the PEC of Supra Mahumapelo must be reinstated. The only solution to this mess now in our province is the reinstatement of the PEC of Supra Mahumapelo, because everything that is happening now is illegitimate. You removed the IPC at the court of law yesterday, that they are illegitimate, meaning everything that the IPC have done is illegitimate. Therefore, the branches that the ANC is claiming to continuing with the conference today, those branches are illegitimate because they were established by the illegitimate IPC. Therefore, we are calling upon to the National Executive Committee of the ANC to uphold the decision or to implement the judgment of the court that said the PEC of Supra Mahumapelo was unlawfully disbanded. Therefore, they must give it the mandate to go and take the Northwest province to the provincial conference.
So I see your argument is based around the fight to a large extent, which links the failure to reinstate Supra-led PEC, even after the court ruled in its favor in 2019. Do you believe that that should be the process going forward, that PEC now be reinstated?
As soon as yesterday, we are calling upon the National Executive Committee of the ANC to be law-abiding citizens. They must reinstate the PEC of Supramahumapelo to take the Northwest Province to court, because the IPC that they have installed or established here in the province for more than 3 years have failed to do or to carry out the mandate of building the branches, of making the ANC to be strong in the province, the program or the agenda of renewal. They failed dismally. They are now history. We no longer want to hear anything about the IPC. The only thing that now we are prepared to hear about is the Provincial Executive Committee of Comrade Supramahumapelo, that they must come and take us to the provincial conference.
James, I spoke to SACP Provincial Secretary earlier on, Samadota Sambat, who says that we should shy away from this whole process of resuscitating leaders, particularly with this whole notion of Supramahumapelo having to be coming back again or contesting for some of the positions in the top 5. What's your reaction on that?
I think Madoda Sambata must start to assist us with the SACP. The SACP is a traditional kind of structure in the province. Therefore, there is nothing that is good that we are going to hear from Madoda Sambata. He must start first with himself. He has been the secretary there from time immemorial. Therefore, there is no one who's going to tell us resuscitating Supramahumapelo. We know him, we know Supra. Supra is organizational. He knows what exactly the ANC wants to renew itself in this province. Therefore, we just take that thing of Madoda Sambata as a chief politics. He must first vacate the office of the Secretariat of Communist Party, then maybe we can start to listen to him.
Just lastly, the ANC is convening an urgent meeting, or rather media conference, at about 12 p.m. That's what we're being told. What is it that you're expecting to come out of that briefing? Do you think the conference should go ahead as planned? And if it does, what will you be doing next?
If really the ANC understands the statutes of the country, the only advice I can give to them out of their meeting is now to reinstate the PEC of Supramahumapelo. If maybe they are going to come with something contrary to that, they must know that thing on its own is nothing and it's not going to hold water. We are busy this weekend, the whole of this weekend. We are sitting at the courts of law to teach the ANC lesson, just to show them that some of us as members, we are exercising our right as members of the ANC to read. If they are not reading, the ANC leadership at national, is their own problem. We will start to teach them to read the policies and the constitution of the ANC, because some of them, they are just leading the organization from their heads. They are just factional. And we are teaching them a lesson here in the Northwest, that we are going through the processes of the constitution and we are organizational, and there is nothing that you can achieve if you put constitution of the ANC aside and come up with your ideas of running the organization.
James Nabuka from Sanko, thank you very much for joining us. That's one of the members here will also be participating in the conference, just sharing their views regarding this whole matter that the conference finds itself in. But we're just also being alerted that at 12 p.m. the media briefing will be convened by the ANC. Hopefully from there we'll be getting answers as to what is the way forward, and as to whether, like others have said, that the reinstatement of PEC should come into play. Will that also be some of the sentiments that the ANC will be speaking to or about? So it'll be interesting how that media briefing unfolds in the next couple of minutes from now.
It will be quite interesting, Polele Treaty-Jones, especially because that PEC did indicate that it wants to comb through the application and the judgment thereafter that was made yesterday evening, putting the IPC in an impossible state where they are unable to participate actively in the proceedings of the conference. But we will be catching up with you throughout the day. That is reporter Polele Treaty-Jones